Good evening, everybody. We are here with Carson Hulbert and his family. As you can see in the screen there, Carson's got a little hardware that he earned this week. Carson is one of our NSR High School pro staffers. He's got a tremendous story. This young man fishes all the time. If you watch his social media, you see he's just on the water every day. Fishing somewhere, whether it's in a bass boat, in a kayak, he's just having fun fishing. He loves it. And mom and dad will talk about how much he's eat up with this sport here in just a second. Um, but Carson, tell us what you achieved this week, man. It's so special.
Yes, sir. So me and my partner Cooper Moon, we actually brought the national championship home over 390 plus boats. It was a great week, very blessed week. We grinded out in practice. We got on a little pattern, something a little bit snakier than most of the boats figured out, and then we just grinded it out and brought it home.
Good deal. So y'all had a couple of kicker fish every day. Were y'all expecting this? Was practice? Did practice show you this? And kind of tell me a little bit how you were fishing and what areas of the lake you were fishing. What you want to divulge. I know everybody's catching them on a shaky head and 30 foot of water, but tell me the truth as close as you can get to it.
Yes, sir. So we kind of started mid lake and we started hitting gravel and hard spots off of points, and we started getting on a little something. We started catching some 2 and 3 pounders. Then we actually caught 6 1/4, and we started just hitting mainly points and kept hitting that kind of same stuff. And we actually just got on a little something, and it was 6 1/4, 5, 4, 3.5. It was a great practice. We mainly focused on throwing crankbaits, swing heads, big worms, and jigs. So
Okay.
yeah, it was the second day of practice we looked down kind of lower than mid lake, and it just wasn't happening. And we figured the river by everybody would be up in the river flipping bushes. The lake was up, I believe, 8 foot. So we figured everybody and their mom would be flipping in the bushes. And we actually tried that a little bit. We weren't catching much quality, so we stuck to the point pattern, kind of hard spot, ledges kind of thing. And we caught 9 fish over 3 days to win the national championship, which were 45 pounds total. So that was about a 5 pound average. So I mean, we weren't getting many bites each day. We're getting 5 to 10 bites. And big thing is we're fishing clean. We landed mostly every fish we caught, and mostly every single one of them was 4 to 6 pounds. So that
Good
was
deal.
definitely
Yeah.
a lot more quality than most of the field.
We saw that the lake was way up and above Summer Pool, and they'd been getting hammered by storms, much like we're getting now, just time after time. In fact, Bassmaster was at Lake Tenkiller a couple of weeks ago, and they had the same thing, and they were running. You could see the same patterns that you mentioned right there. That a lot of people were up flipping bushes and that sort of thing, but a lot of people were working hard walls, bluff banks, and stuff like that, and points, hard places where the fish didn't have anywhere to go but up or down. And I think
Yes,
that
sir.
that pattern worked out really good for you.
Yes, sir. So I was actually out there in the Bassmaster Open Kayak before the Bassmaster Elite Series was out there, and I actually finished 23rd in it. And I caught all my fish scoping the first day, and the second day I caught them all flipping bushes. So yeah, that was as well a great week. So yeah, I have some decent experience on 10 killer as well. So I love that lake too.
Yeah, yeah. Well, tell me a little bit about your prize package. What all did you and Cooper end up walking away with besides that big old trophy?
Yeah, so this trophy's awesome. I mean, it's a sucker weighs like 20 pounds, but we walked away with, I believe, 5 grand each in scholarships, and we got a free entry to the Toyota Series Championship in Grand Lake in November. So on the co-angler side, so me and Cooper both have a chance to win a $40,000 Phoenix. So that'll be a great experience. Hopefully we get to go. We're definitely planning on going, God willing. So that'll be definitely big accomplishment. And me and Cooper bring one of us bring that home. So that'll be a
Yeah.
great experience. And heck, if we don't do good, we'll still learn a lot while we're there. So
Well, TBF and SAF put on a great event. The prize packages are amazing. The media coverage that they have is amazing. The live streaming and all that sort of stuff, and just the how they create the environment for you guys to really showcase not only your fishing skills but your own stage presence and your communication skills and all those sorts of things that we talk about when we build value to present to a college coach as a high school angler. You know what NSR Fishing does with these young people is we help them build their value, their brand to present to these college coaches. So these coaches will see that they're much more than just a fisherman. They're also social media, have a great social media presence. They understand editing. They understand the business end of fishing. You know, fishing is an industry. So you have to have a concept on that. I see you're wearing a Clutch hat. So I'm sure Clutch wants something in return for that. Some social media posts and some stuff like that. But tell us a little bit about, what you did to promote yourself out to different schools and stuff, and how you used the NSR platform to do that, and how you got to University of Model Valley with Coach Crawford.
yes, sir. So on NSR, we actually through the years, all my accomplishments, all my grades, all my community service, all my great accomplishments, and it helped get my name out there to college coaches. I don't know how many looked at my profile, but a bunch. And Coach Crawford saw it, and I met with him at the combine, and we got to talking, and it all worked out. He's a great guy, great coach. He's got a great team in there at Montevallo, and I'm very excited to go there.
Yeah, man. When you see what they've done as a team, and the championships that they've racked up, and then you've got guys like Easton Fothergill going and winning the Classic.
Bo
It's just
Browning.
yeah,
I talked to Bo this week. He's a great guy.
yeah, Bo Browning. Yeah, those guys are. I live on the Coosa River, so I see them all the time. Out there either on Lay Lake or Lake Mitchell or Lake Jordan, somewhere down here, there's going to be a Montevallo boats on the water just about any given time. And these kids are great fishermen, but they're also great people. And there's so many NSR high school pro staffers that are joining that team. I really see that they're going to continue this string of high caliber anglers that go off into the next level, and I certainly see you as part of that mix. Has anybody ever told you that you have a striking resemblance to Easton Fothergill? He may be a little bit taller than you,
Not
but
fishing one.
Larry, one of the things that really attracted us to Montevallo was the diversity of the team with regards to geography.
Sure.
We told Carson, you can go wherever you want to go, but it has to have a coach, and we want that diversity because we feel like, he's going to learn a lot more fishing with people from different areas of the country versus, fishing with kids that he's fished against.
Yeah,
right.
In
kids that
Tennessee
are
and
from
Georgia.
yep, kids that are from the same area as me. Yeah.
Well, and that's what makes Montevallo competitive, and a lot of the colleges are doing this, but they do recruit different style anglers from different regions of the country, so they are able to compete at whatever lake that they go to. I know in Carson's class, they've got a young man from Florida coming. They've got a young man from Arkansas coming. They've got some Alabama anglers. They've got some other anglers. So
Arizona, Hawaii,
yeah,
North,
Texas,
West Coast, yeah,
Pennsylvania,
yeah, it's Georgia, South Carolina.
Ohio.
So
Yeah.
that's how you make sure that you're able to cover whatever tournaments you get thrown into. And the other thing is the versatility of these anglers. You take somebody like a Carson who could fish a Lake Lanier, who can go to Lake Tenkiller, who can fish the Coosa River, go to Guntersville and be successful, just able to adapt to those regions. And Carson, I wanted to talk about this too, your kayak career too, man. that's a whole different deal, man. You're in skinny water and you're chunking shallow baits a lot of times, but then you tell me you're sitting there scoping out of it.
Mm. Yep, I do a lot of both. I'm actually headed to Champlain in a couple weeks. If I do good at it, I'm gonna be the youngest person ever to qualify for the Bassmaster Kayak Classic. So that'll be great. That'll be a great experience. Hopefully, if I do good, that means I get to walk across the stage. So that'll be outstanding.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And kayak fishing's growing. There are some collegiate teams starting now, so it's a growing thing. Mom and Dad, how's this journey been with you guys to see what he's done and see the work that he's put into it, and to be able to share this walk that he's been on all the way to this national championship? I'm sure it's been
Yeah,
a memorable event for you.
yeah, I'll take that one, Larry. And I appreciate, first of all, for giving us the opportunity to share this with NSR and hopefully a lot of people out there across the nation that will eventually see these videos that we're doing today. And I hope it helps them through this process. And it's really a transition, from the high school to the college ranks. And this platform has been just, you know, it's been great for us and getting that exposure. I look back and Carson had a lot of exposure early on his freshman, sophomore year um, within Tennessee. The college coaches in Tennessee, they track the series that are going on in Tennessee. And we have some good colleges within Tennessee.
Mhm.
But what he wasn't getting was he wasn't getting the exposure and the recognition outside of Tennessee. So college coaches didn't see what was going on in Tennessee necessarily um, at the local level. So this platform with NSR enabled that exposure outside of Tennessee, and that's when we really saw the interest grow from college coaches, from seeing his profile on NSR and seeing what he was doing at the state level and then at the national level outside of Tennessee. And I think that impressed them with what he accomplished and has been accomplishing over, obviously the pinnacle, what we say this past week, being a national champion, which there's only a few of those. That's really kind of thing. Now going back to the journey, I say a lot of times this has been a 6 to 7 year journey to where we're at today. And this past week was a culmination of those years of hard work, dedication, and it was not always a smooth road at all the time. There was a lot of adversity in that, and that adversity um, came perseverance and his drive to be one of the best, right? And that created a drive within his core, I believe, to be better. That adversity that was, in front of him at times, and because fishing, you've got to be a humble person. You're going to have more tough days than you are, where everything's gonna click. And what we say is God will determine when that day is going to happen for you. And we were blessed this past week beyond any of our expectations. Um, and we were blessed all week. I mean, to win, to put 3 days together like we did, like these boys did, and they figured it out. And they always have, from a practice standpoint. They put their heads down and they were partners, teammates, and it was 50-50. It was never, okay, I'm doing all this and you just be in the back. But they both shared the load and they did it and they figured it out this week. And we surprised a lot. They surprised a lot of people. The locals, we had a lot of locals coming up to us and trying to figure out how are you catching 5 pound average fish. Yes, it was only a three fish tournament, per day. But at the end of the day, 9 fish, and they were averaging 5 fish, 5 pound fish, for the 9. That's that was beyond any of our expectations, and I think their expectations coming out of practice. And like Carson said, there was they caught a 6.2, 6.2, 6.3,
6.25, yeah.
6.25 in practice, and that kind of give them a little idea of what kind of pattern they were going to be on for the week. And they ran that pattern and basically ran the same route every day. They reloaded and they fished clean. It was awesome. A lot of eventually, once they publish it on the Pursuit Channel, everybody's going to see the chaos. And there was a lot of chaos in that week, in those times that we had the camera boat. We had the camera boat 3 days.
Mhm.
2 days. Or
3 days.
3 days.
We had the camera on the boat at least about 2 hours per day for 3 days. They weren't on the boat with us first day, but second, third, and fourth. And
Yeah.
we had a lot of chaos on the boat. I mean, because once the boys got the fish fired up, it was on, and it was on fast. And I always said, and this goes back a few years, their job is to wear me out, as in culling and fish care, and
that man.
yeah. Well, I don't like to net much, but I'd rather them net. But in this case, they allowed to net, so
Yeah.
that kind of helped things out, so the other partner could keep fishing. But we
Yeah.
had to call a lot, so we had to stop fishing to get the call out. And it's I'll let Carson talk about a little bit of the chaos, but because it's camera guy said this is probably the best footage he's ever got on a boat. So it's going to be fun to watch and laugh. We're going to get some laughs at ourselves, and I'm sure.
Me.
So yeah, but
Well, when you're swinging 5 pounders, buddy, it can get chaotic. Mom, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
When did it hit you that your child had just achieved the national championship? Did you know it? Did you know they had a good bag, or were y'all stressed
Oh,
out playing?
no, the last day there was no communication. Jason, my husband, had taken them out the first 2 days, and then Carson's partner's dad took them out the third and fourth day. And he is a no communication kind of guy.
yeah,
So
we don't communicate back,
right.
with our wives and anyone else. We stay off our phones, and it's a big surprise. So
Yeah.
like Marla was saying, day 3, the national championship day, they went out with a 2-pound lead. And there was a team that the day before we had about 16, and then 14. Well, day 2 there was a team that came in with 16, so it kind of we were all, from a planning strategy standpoint, well, they're on some good fish, right? They're getting on some fish like we are, and we only got a 2-pound lead, so we gotta we gotta bring A game on day 3. And they brought their A game on day 3. But it was a little tension and anxiety from Marla and I's standpoint, because we weren't, we had no idea what
Yeah.
was going on. We were an emotional mess that day.
We were a wreck.
Yeah, it was it was a culmination of seven years of this is the day,
Yeah.
and God makes the plan. If it's our day, it's our day. And they went out and did what they were needed to do to bring it home. And we said a lot of, what I'll say is we on that boat, there was a lot of prayers and a lot of thanks that were given. We stopped, and you'll see this on camera. We stopped, we thank God every time we catch a fish, but we stopped multiple times because it was going so well. We stopped multiple times and thank God, for blessing us, and how many, in the middle of the tournament when it was going good, we stopped and said a prayer. We made time to pay, to give thanks where thanks is should be given. So,
Yep.
and even when the camera boat guy got off the boat, he said, "Can I say a prayer for you guys?" And that was just, that was, it just
Priceless.
priceless. I mean, I'm speechless.
So,
But
so you're saying there might have been a tear shed throughout the week?
I'm
It didn't hit me till the night of that we won the championship, and man, it hit me hard. So
Yeah.
If I could just go back for a second and
Yes,
talk
ma'am.
about Carson's journey a little bit. When Carson started fishing that first year, he was in middle school, so he was in the junior side of it.
great.
Yeah. He didn't catch a fish the whole season, not one. And at that time, you could go ahead and, as a junior, fish the state championship, and so he did, and ended up catching one fish that was 4 pounds. And I look back on that and I think most kids probably would have given up
Mhm.
and just said, maybe fishing is not my thing. Carson spent the whole summer looking at videos, seeing what the pros were doing, research, going out. He would take lures and test them in my bathtub. Just anything that had to do with fishing, he was there and he was doing it.
Yeah.
And then he really started having success his sophomore year. He was all state that year. And the following year is when he really got into his junior year. He got into the kayak side. And honestly, I think it's made him a better angler. It's made him slow down. It's made him a little bit more strategic and methodical about what he's doing.
Mhm.
Makes me do a little bit more map study than I usually do,
Right.
and I do a lot going into the boat tournament. So it's a lot of strategy going into kayak tournament. It's because you got to launch basically where you fish. So
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
You can move
You don't
around.
have a 250 on the back to run 20 miles upriver.
now I will say my Newport trolling motor is a beast.
Um,
Well-
but it really is a journey. And this sport, you have some really high highs, you have some really low lows. And it's how you react to those situations and try to maintain, consistency across the board. I think, and he's learned how to do that. It wasn't always easy, and he would come home and be frustrated and upset when he didn't do as well as he thought he should. But to cap off, his high school career with this,
My last tournament ever.
yeah,
Or
I mean,
last high school tournament.
it was incredible.
Yeah, these last few months, I'm telling you, it's been nonstop. There's been, and he deserves everything that he's been given, because I've seen the hard work and the drive and the passion to be one of the best. And,
He's up till midnight working on, tying, retying,
Yeah.
schooling. I mean, it just,
I mean,
it's,
when we started this journey, I mean, we had a lot of, Tennessee always has a lot of hammers. I mean, Tennessee produces a lot of anglers that go on,
well, yeah, he was
Um,
fishing against people like Banks Shaw and the Nut Brothers and Nathan Reynolds, all very accomplished anglers. And it was just kind of in the beginning overwhelming because you're like, how are we
Yeah,
going to compete with him?
We're getting our teeth kicked in, and it
Yeah.
just gave me that drive to be better than
yeah.
I already am. So
But we also had a discussion, going back to his freshman year. It's like if you want to be in the same, where they're at, you're going to have to be an all around. It's not just about fishing. It's about, you got to get your academics in order. You've got to get your community service in order and your conservation work. And that's where the all around, Carson has excelled. So being, last month he was recognized as the Tennessee Conservationist of the Year. which is just not expected by no means. That was not in the plans or in the goals, but he was recognized last month by the state on that. And then, graduating with a 4.0 GPA and last month from school and then all of his community hours that he's done over the past year. And it's weekly. It's not a one time go out a couple times a year and do something within the community or conservation. It's with Carson, he's really taken the time weekly to go out and give back or do something within the community or in the school or in the to give back and pay it forward. We are big on that as from our family value standpoint is we've been given a lot and people look, there's a lot of people out there. I won't mention any names. There's a lot of people out there that have helped us and get through this journey because we couldn't have done it alone. And so we've obviously since we've been thanking everyone since this thing ended last week. We've been trying to catch up and thank everybody for because we just couldn't do this alone. But it's that's kind of the thing is he's done so much to try to be that those people that those kids that he saw as anglers when he was in 8th grade, 9th grade, where he wanted to be. And I think I give him a lot of credit. He did it, and he's in the same.
Well,
Now,
And NSR, I'm sorry, NSR gives you a platform to showcase all that.
right.
And so, I think he won that during the Jacob Wheeler tournament,
Yep.
his sophomore year. And what it's allowed us to do is really chronicle everything that he's done up to this point.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful thing because
Yes.
it's a lot.
Well, I can tell you from a corporate standpoint, that boy is in there updating all the time. And it's very few weeks go by that he hadn't updated something in his profile.
Right.
Yeah, it makes it easy. I think the platform makes it easy to do that, right?
Yeah.
It's simple enough, whether you're computer literate or not, to go in there and to be able to do that, and to keep it updated. It makes it so simple when it comes to any kind of award time. You've got that information documented, and like I said, from a 24/7, 365 college perspective, college coaches can go in there anytime and they could go in there anytime through the years and see where he's at, see what he's doing, what progress he's doing, what kind of results is he having? Is this kind of the caliber of
Right.
kid I want on my team? And I think that's where Coach Crawford saw he's growing, he's getting outside his local lakes, he's challenging himself, and we could have easily done that last couple of years. We could have easily stayed locally and fished and had a lot of probably more success if we stayed on our local lakes the last couple of years, but we didn't. He really wanted to challenge himself, and so we've traveled more. This is our third trip out to Oklahoma. This was our third trip out to Oklahoma this year, from the Bass Open on the high school fishing to the Bass Open on the kayak to this national tournament. So that really allowed going back to the platform. I mean, just keeping that information updated and college coaches tracking what's going on.
I think he treats it kind of like a living document.
Yeah.
And that's what it is.
Right.
And it is conduit. It allows the angler and the coaches to reach each other, and it's truly a portal where you can relay information back and forth, and it's a really unique platform. It's what the college coaches really wanted. Not every college team has the budget for those coaches to go out and recruit. And they can go onto the website and see kids from all across the country and recruit these kids and bring them to their programs. Let's talk about this, man. You got a next chapter coming up in your life. Have you given that any thought? What's your goals at Montevallo? What are you looking to achieve? And also, what do you want to major in? What's your career goals?
Yes, sir. So I'm actually going to be a business management major, and going into this first year, I'm just going to try to learn as much as I can from other guys, and as I've done, like fishing all these different types of lakes I've fished these past 3 years, just the same thing, kind of learn from other people, and just kind of fish different lakes, get to know the Coosa, and just kind of start working my way up the board there at Montevallo, and just kind of make a name for myself, kind of help get some more school years, national championships, and just grow my brand, grow the team, and um, I'm super excited to be in the Outdoor Scholars Program. That's going to be a great program. I'll learn a bunch about hunting, cooking even. I'm not very good at that yet, but yeah, definitely. But first and foremost, get my education and see where it goes from there after school.
Good deal. Mom, are you ready for that?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm ready. I think it's time. Jason often jokes that Carson's learned as much as he possibly can from him. So it's time to really get serious. And as I said before, the diversity of the team, I think, will really help Carson develop. And if professional angling is something that he wants to do later on, then
Yeah.
he will really have a good backbone to support
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, these already
No,
building. Coach enabled, that they've been the guys that they're going in there, the recruits going in this year. Coach established a forum that they're already talking, getting to know each other, and so they're not going in blind. They know who's going in, and they're talking and sharing and just kind of getting to know each other, and that's going to kind of shorten that learning curve. Who's who in the zoo kind of thing.
yeah.
And Carson has spent some time, obviously with Brooker down in Florida coming in. When we went down to Harris Chain, he went down with Brooker and they went fishing on lake down there at Okeechobee, and kind of went hunting, did some night hunting on some hogs in the swamp, and do some of that. And we've been to Kentucky Lake, and there with boys coming out of Kentucky, and there was 5 or 6 of them at the nationals this week.
Right.
So he's got a heck of a class, and you got to have, that comes with a 5-time national champion. Coaches, he wants that to continue, and I think the boys want that to continue. From what I saw at orientation back in April, when they had all the parents and the team come in and get signed up for classes. So we're all stoked. We're already, working together as families, and the boys are working together. It's going to be a fun time for us, obviously in a different capacity. We're not going to see it firsthand on the boat. I'm not going to, but it's going to be fun to travel the country and support the boys, and support the team and coach whatever he needs from us, to see it and see what they can achieve, and continue the success that they have built over the years at Montevallo, and that is going to be special.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And it's this journey to this point right here has been special, but that section of years is going to be really, really something special. And I did it 40 years ago, and I'm still talking to very close friends that I had 40 years ago to today. As a matter of fact, those are my lifelong friends. Carson, is there anybody that you want to thank? Anything that you want to say to give a shout out to anybody, or just the floor is yours right now to just kind of spill your heart a little bit.
Yes, sir. I'd definitely like to thank my parents here, all the stuff they've done for me over the past 7 years, taking me to tournaments. For sure, my sister for always taking care of the dog and looking over the house, and that's been pretty nice of her to look over me and always supporting me, and my parents here support me. And I'd like to thank my boat captain, Michael Moon. It's been a great year with him and Cooper. really looking forward to fishing with Cooper in college. And yeah, I'm definitely I'm very blessed to have all of our team sponsors and to be able to travel the country and with them behind us, and it's been great. I'd like to thank all the people that's kind of got me into fishing. So actually my sixth grade year, um, I found out there's a fishing team close to where I live, and the coach is actually Thomas Gredig. I found out through him, and he got me on the team, and it all went uphill from there. And I'm very blessed to have to find out there was a fishing team, and
About mentors.
yeah, I definitely like to thank Chad Morgan Taylor. He great mentor to me. I met him my sophomore year, and he's kind of guided me and mentored me and kind of helped me through the years of marketing and just kind of a few techniques I learned from him, and it's been great.
Awesome, man. Well, again, your NSR family is super proud of you.
Yeah, I
Just
definitely like to thank you guys for the opportunity you guys gave me, and I'd like to thank God because without Him, none of this would be possible.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, Mom and Dad, we appreciate y'all coming on with him tonight and taking the time to visit with us. I'm going to end this right here, man. The sky's the limit for you, buddy, in college, and you let adversity be your fuel forever, okay? And don't let it defeat you. Let it be your fuel, and great things will happen for you. And you understand the fact that you're in a sport where you're going to lose a lot more than you win, but it's how you lose and how you rebound from that, and how you use that as fuel to make yourself better to get to the next level. And there's so many wonderful stories out there with these young people in fishing. Cooper, how big are you?
Say that again?
How big are you? What do you weigh? How tall are you?
5'10", 140.
All right, so you're not going to play linebacker in the SEC, right?
No, sir.
But here's the deal: you're going to get to go to college and compete for that school, for Montevallo, University of Montevallo, and you're going to be proud to represent that school.
Yes, sir.
And the fact that we've got opportunities for these young people in fishing now to where they can go to school and they can get some or all of their academics paid for potentially, where they can get that degree, and that degree is going to change the trajectory of your life. Okay. And so man, we're honored to have been on this journey with you guys, and we appreciate everything that you've done for us in mentioning us on social media and that sort of thing. Cooper, you did amazing testimonial when you committed that. I appreciated that. So listen, we're going to end it right here. Y'all have a great night, and we will talk to everybody later.
Thank you.